Okay, I'm back. Um, all I can say is I'm late. At least one person knows why I'm late out there. And it's Friday, so that's my only excuse. So I'm throwing the Friday excuse out there. I don't want to do this anymore. That's not that I don't, because if I did, I wouldn't do it. But I do definitely need to spend some more time on it. Because until I get this freaking thing solved, it's going to be the bane of my existence. So let's get it going here. All right, so I got the setup database thing here. We did that. Steps to implement SQL Server based authentication authorization. Users, roles. You know, that changed on me, didn't it? It changed on me again. There's always something changing. Wait. We've got, if you prefer to see, oh, okay, this isn't even the right window. This is my window, I think. Yeah, I think this is the one. What was my last question? I'll know if it's my last question was the right one. I don't want to use startup class. You can later use startup class. See, this is still kind of weird to me. This is still not the one. Maybe this was it? Nope, that's not it. That's totally not it. That's old. Old as the hills. What? How come I keep losing the page I'm on? See, this is all old. This isn't even like the thing I most recently did. Oh, I remember what the problem was. I had to bag on Auth because Auth doesn't work. Okay, so I had to get rid of Auth. I had to get rid of OpenID Connect because both of them require third party, or at least for you to create a third party authentication, which doesn't work for me because I don't want to do that. I want to have straight up me just managing the authorization and authentication locally in my computer, my database, and then I'll have a third party option. See, this is what is the best solution if I just want to use my SQL database for authentication and authorization. So steps to implement SQL Server based authentication and authorization. So this is the one that I was going to create. This might actually just work. Maybe I just use this one. This is the one I was working with. Let's try it. So this is an example schema. Okay, so registration. Okay. Let's just ask the question again. Just ask it clean. How to create .NET 8 Auth API that includes SQL Server database, for authentication and authorization, JWT bearer tokens, token validation with endpoint, program CS. I'm not using OAuth because I'm going to get rid of that one. All right, so I want SQL Server database for authentication, authorization, JWT bearer tokens. I do not want to use API key or whatever the other thing was. So What was the other thing? Dang it, it wasn't. Shoot. How do I create a SQL Server database for authentication and authorization? An API that uses SQL Server database for authentication and authorization. JWT bearer tokens, token validation with endpoint. Swagger for testing and token validation that includes token validation with endpoint, program.cs because it keeps wanting to put me in startup.cs, includes Swagger for testing and migration for database. Here we go. We're back to it, ChatGPT. Another refreshing question. Let's see if you can answer this one. We are no longer going OIDC, OpenID Connect, and we are no longer using OAuth 2 because that blew up in my face. So, because apparently you need third-party crap. I don't want to do third-party crap. Yeah, I'm going to use third-party crap. I just don't want it right now. Okay. Let's see. Here's a step-by-step creating a .NET API that uses SQL Server both authentication and JWT Swagger for testing and includes token validation with an endpoint. Set up your project, add required NuGet packages, configure your database context, which they actually use models, or this one uses models. I can use models. I don't have a problem with that. Just application database context, which is I have AppDB context. Which they actually got rid of. They don't have anything in here. Where's all of the... Where's all the setup in there? DB set. Let's go to the models. I don't have a models yet, but I will create one. I do, you know, to get the full MVC picture, you know, the whole controllers. The only thing I don't have is views, I guess, huh? All right, so add new folder. Just call them models. And then we'll add a class. And what do we want to call this? User? Sure. Sometimes they put the thing in. In fact, it did in my data context. My namespace is not Auth API models. All right, so we've got me a user model now. Oh, okay, I see. It just gave me a different, it does approach it different. This is an AI, it doesn't always use, it's not consistent in its calls. It will do things different. Like here, it actually broke out the user class from the Auth API class, or from the application database context class, which is different from what it's been doing over here. Like if I go to application database context, you'll see, see I have the user class here. It took it out. So ID, username, password auth, and role. I also want email, so I'm going to put email in there. I don't know if that's... actually, I could just change username to email, because I'm not going to have a username. It's just going to be a... I guess no, I want email. I want them to log in with email. They could have a username, but I don't think I want to use that. Because one, I want to force an email. Usernames are useless. But two, I think a username might be good for, you know, the game's purpose. You know, what displays, what doesn't. But for now, we'll just go with this. I'm going to change it to... well, let's see what happens if I leave it. Okay, so this is really the same thing. We've got my application context, except for now, instead, we're doing this thing. Application DB context, AMG DB context. Oh, okay. So my class is called AMG DB context. And then we're going to have a DB context options. I don't know. They changed this up again on me. Darn garnet. Why do they keep doing that? Now it's options. And again, I have to take it because I don't know. It might be set up slightly different. Oh, DB context. Oh, it is the same. Except they're just doing options now. Oh, it's already in there, right? Oh, because it's DB context. Okay, so it's this options. And then base options, which is what this is. DB context options. I don't think I need any of that. I think it's already set up. It's already kind of got me set up. DB set users. What is this? Do I need to call my? Oh, I do. I need to go here. Go using AMG authorize models. Okay, so we should have everybody functional right now. We'll see what happens when I put an email. I really think yeah, let's see where to go. Models. Okay, here we go. I'm kind of torn on this. If I should call it just email. I'm gonna just call it email. I want it to be called email. Why not? It's just it's just words. It's just words. I hope. It might not be. It might go, that's not what I asked for. Hopefully we're okay. If not, I'll have to change it because obviously can't have that. So remember, if something breaks, it's because I changed the email. Or it could be. Did that. Now we're going to go configure my authentication in JWT and program.cs again. Starting all over. We're going to copy the code here. And we're just going to snap it in there. Because all the stuff I had before was wrong. We have application builder. We've got the database context. This is not application DB context. This is supposed to be AMG DB context. I should probably call this AMG DB context because I want it called. And then we'll go here and call. Oops, nope. There. AMG authorize. This is going to be AMG DB context. Okay, so we've got default connection. We've got our keys once again. Same. At least it's referencing the same values. It keeps giving me the same JWT values there, so that's nice. We do got the validate token parts in here. SQL Server. It does have Swagger, but that's set up in the app. Where is Swagger Gen? Oh, okay, there's Swagger Gen. Okay, so we got all of that. implement the authentication controller. Now I'm going to go here, and that's going to be my controller, token validation controller, which is probably not the best. Still API controller, but we're going to take, well, let's just copy the code again. I don't really have any reason not to, other than it does use configuration.key, and this one probably does not. Oh, it does. It sets up configuration. And where's it looking at the key though? Configuration, registration, login, token validate, and it does use it does do it. Okay, it's got it. It's in there. It's Prego. Public class register request. I'm going to do email again here. Oops. Okay. All right. User.password hash, password. What is you? You is user, right? Yep. So it's just going to be dot email. Fine. It's all the same. It's going to be email. And this is also going to be email. And this is AMGDB context. And this is also AMGDB context. All right, so what are we missing? Do we miss it? Are we missing anything? I don't know what bcrypt is. The name bcrypt does not exist in the current context. Is there a hint, a fix? Generate, inline, generate, install package, portable bouncy castle. Huh? Portable bouncy castle. Crypto generators. Really? Well, let's see if that's what it's supposed to be. Wait, is portable, does it have that as one of the packages? Swashbuckle. No, it does. Oh, bcrypt. Oh, it has add package bcrypt.net. Right here. I don't know what portable bouncy castle is, but let's try this one. Didn't complain, so must have worked. Let's see if bcrypt goes away. Okay, it did. So, what are we missing? Anything else missing? Got this little triple dots here. What's that mean? Oh, I could do use primary constructor. I like using primary constructor. It just simplifies things, you know? Makes things look cleaner. Why do I need a constructor if the primary constructor can hold it? Just looks better. Okay, so we have that done. This is just complaining about possible nulls, right? Yeah. All right. So we've got the authorization controllers in. Got all that. Configure app settings. I got app settings set up. I got connection strings, JWTs. I don't have the logging thing. Or maybe I did add the logging thing. I don't know. Allow host. And now we got to initialize. But first, I do want to go back here and see if there's any names, anything that I need to reference that are different. Like this guy, why is it saying it's a problem? Oh, am I using another top level? Oh yeah, that's another top. Okay, let's go to solution, and we will remove this guy from play. All right, so now we shouldn't have that anymore. Okay, so we're good. Everybody's happy, it looks like. Let's go ahead and do a quick build. See if everything compiles. No, it does not. Okay. Data. Oh, am I still? What is this? Oh. Okay, this is supposed to be AMG authorize. I already have those in though, so let's take those out. And this is AMG authorized also. It's got to be in the same namespace. Okay. So now we got the same namespace. Let's also change the name of my file because I don't like that name. We're just going to call it, it's in the controllers. What are we calling this? Auth? I'll just call it auth controllers. Sure. Okay, what else we got? What is the other thing complaining here? I don't think that's a thing anymore, so let's go see. Alright, let's see. What do you got for me? 1 succeeded. 0 failed. Alrighty. Now, next step. We created the new database design, so we're going to go ahead and let this build a new database if it works. So we're going to go run these guys. Copy. And we're going to go over to git bash. I'm going to paste this puppy. Let's see if EF migration initial create will build this time. Now everything's compiling, everything's by design. I do got to say this though, it even build succeeded. Huh, nice. Well, of course the build succeeded. More than one DB context was found. Specify which one to use. Oh, wait, what do you mean more than one DB context was found? Really? Oh. Yeah, all right, whatever. Let's go here. And let's get rid of, I don't know what this is. This is old, so I'm going to go here and just delete these. Oh, it should not be an issue. Okay, so we're going to go data. I probably don't need this one anymore either. That's old too. Okay. Let's see what that does. To undo this action, use EF migration remove. All right, so I got the new migration, and now we're going to do update database. It's doing stuff. It's done. All right, so let's go look at my database. Let's go see what it gave me. What is this new thing? Assuming it gave me something at all. Let's see, refresh. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so UCL ladder. All right, so let's see how this compares to the database it gave me before. So this gave me a lot more tables. Roles, claims, users, roles, users, tokens, tables. This one gave me nothing but migration history and users. Huh. That doesn't seem like much. But yeah, let's go see what this one shows. Let's go see. Let's go see what it does and see if it does anything and see if we're any what kind of situation we have here. All right, so we have a lot more basicness. Got to register, we got to log in, and we got validate token. All three are valid, and they're the things I want. So that's good. They are. It's a much simpler version, but you don't have modify. I'm missing a lot of the other potential items. But let's just see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and try it out, and then we're going to go. Oh, I got yeah. Look at this am. This is a lot more succinct, but it's okay. I can try some different stuff. I don't even know. Can I put them in? I don't even know what kind of roles can I even select from there. I don't know. Do I have to pick one? Hopefully it doesn't say I have to pick one. I'm going to use my same password just so that I don't have multiple passwords for my testing purposes. Oh, there it is. So this is a new database, so obviously I'm creating a new user. We'll take that one and stick it right in there. So it says I'm registered, right? Curl, response body, user registered successfully. Okay, so now we're going to try to log me in. And that's not right. It's already wrong. It says username, should be email. But did this one show email? It does. So that's already wrong. But let's, I think that might not even work because it's going to be trying to point to a field that might not exist. So let's go to my database. What do I actually have in the users? Yeah, it's email, password hash, and role. So it's not going to work. Let's go back to my. Let's go back to my auth controller. And the item I'm looking at is supposed to be login and user, password, email. Oops. Oh. Wait a minute. What is that? Oh, that's it. I'm requesting email. Oh, okay. It probably would have worked. It was just mapping to a username. But I want to make sure. Okay, so we're going to control S. And let's, can I do a hot reload? Will it do it? Changes resulted in build errors. Oh, poo. Wait, what is the problem? Huh. Hit stop. Interesting. So something else is looking for the name. Is looking for username. Oh, register request. Let's see. Where is username at? Oh. Username. Entire solution, sure. public string. Aha, that's the thing I want. And that's the request object, so this is probably going to be okay now. There it is. Okay. Alright, so I think we got it fixed. Alright, let's try that again. This is a problem when you change a name, you know, somebody gives you a sample code, or you're changing a large, you're copy pasting, but yet you want to customize it. You gotta tweak it completely, right? Gotta fix everything. Oh, where'd you go, man? What happened? What's that going to say? Okay, so we have a token now, but it's not showing up. Okay. I mean, it is, but it isn't. It's a token, yes, but it's not a bearer token. All right, it should say bearer. Type bearer. This does not appear to be returning a bearer type token. The return just says token. I laugh because sometimes it gives you what you need, and sometimes it just gives you the bare minimums, or what you want versus what you... It says, oh yeah, well, it probably is generally better to go the other way. Well, responses will use our basic model until the limit resets in 30 minutes. So I gotta wait 30 minutes. Which is what, 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock? Close to 4 o'clock. I've hit the limit of my ChatGPT allowance for the day. It's still cool that you could do it. I mean, I've asked a lot of questions, so I get it, you know. They gotta charge you something, but it's cool that they reset, because some places don't even reset. 30 minutes is not the end of the world, you know. Hold on, I'm gonna go get a drink. Be right back. All right. I'm back. Got my protein drink refill. And not quite ready to call it quits yet. So let's see if I can get a little bit further. So I've got things kind of loading up. So let's go to the auth controller. It modified the login. It's interesting though. I thought Swagger included the endpoint. So how come, doesn't Swagger include endpoints by default? Why are we creating them manually? But does not. How Swagger works. Automatic documentation here. Swagger reads the API controllers and actions defined in application. It generates an interactive UI where you can view and test your API endpoints. This is done using attributes and annotations in your controllers. Endpoint. You need to manually define the endpoints in your controllers. This involves creating methods that handle. And it's weird because I tell you, the API auth I created early on, I did not create any of these endpoints. The register, the login, the valid token, none of that. I didn't have to create any of it. The only one, well, no, I had to create the validate token because that wasn't already included. But it was already in the Swagger. It's part of it. So something's amiss. Because it says, no, your Swagger does not do that. Swagger just reads your thing. And I'm like, well, what was it reading when it was doing it before? Because I did not do it before. I really wish I had kept my original. I wish I had checked it in back when it was the original code. Because it's too late now. I've totally mangled the app, so I can't go back. But it did do it. I'm telling you, man. The only thing I had to do was a token, validate token. But now it has login and register. And those are the only three things instead of Swagger being all of them. I think what it is there's a setting on Swagger that automatically does it. And it could be the versioning. Maybe because I'm using JW bearer tokens. It could be things that I'm doing that are different. So it's interesting though. I think this is almost, it's cool that it was doing it automatically, but in reality, this is probably better because I get to see how it's actually done. When user successfully logs in, the API will return the token with the bearer prefix. So really the only difference is they added this line instead of just saying, okay, new token. But this is totally different. But again, I do kind of like that this is built in because then I can just see it working. Which I guess has a benefit to the... before I was thinking, this is cool, but how's it doing all this? And how come I can't figure out where the validate is? Because there wasn't a validate. I had to add validate, but you add it and then it just became this secondary thing that was added on top of what Swagger was pulling from its butt. I could not figure it out because my code did not have any of these. Like here I have register, login, and validate token. So it'd be cool. I'm still trying to decide if this is going to be what I want, but at least this will say bearer token because I want it to be a bearer token. It's not that it's changing the type, it's just the same token with the full layout, right? It's just, it's lying. I mean, it's not doing anything fancy. Now, when you want to use the token for authenticated requests, you can directly set the authorization header in your HTTP authorization bearer token. This will align with most APIs and clients expect when dealing with JWT bearer tokens. Okay, well, that's at least going to align. Your breakdown of how it works, how Swagger works. That's cool, though, that it actually explains a little bit. Dynamic endpoints might interact with a database, perfect calculations, or call other services. Swagger cannot handle these dynamic behaviors on its own. You need to write the code that performs these actions. You might have specific requirements for each endpoint. Example, adding endpoints. Register, login, validate token. Wow. Okay, but so let's go do this again. I am then going to go ahead and see. I still have to see if my validate token works. Now I'm going to look at my validation here, see if it actually does anything. Class, JWT, kill, blah blah blah, symmetric security key. All right, issuer, audience, database. Okay. Let's see, post requires a JWT token. So it does show you when application navigate to Swagger, Swagger will display documentation for these endpoints, including register, login. When calling the validate endpoint, do I pass the token with the bearer prefix or just the token? Okay, so it says I have to pass it with the bearer prefix. Okay, so let's try it. Let's try it again, man. Who knows? Maybe I'm getting close. Finally. Finally. All right, so I'm probably gonna have to log in again. So try it out. And let's just go here. Nope, that's not it. Go here. Copy. Here, type in that puppy, execute, should return me a bearer token. Now it says token. It's a bearer token. Yay, look at that. All right, so we're going to go here with the bearer prefix, copy. We're going to go down to validate the token, see what the token says. Try it out. What? Okay, wait a minute. How do I? Okay. It doesn't. It does not seem. Wait, how come my token validate doesn't accept the token? That's weird. Yeah. The validate token method above does not appear to have a token parameter method in the example doesn't explicitly accept a token parameter because it's intended to be accessed with the token already included in the authorization header. In the setup, the token is validated as part of the authentication process using JWT or authentication middleware. However, if you want to validate the token directly within the endpoint, check its validity, and decode claims, you would need to extract the token from the authorization header. Validate the token manually. Here's how you can adjust the token endpoint to accept and validate a token directly. Interesting. So if I pass it within the authorization header, it would work in theory. But how do I test that? So, you know, to be honest, I don't know what an authorization header is. I gotta be honest, I've seen that mentioned a bunch of different times. Is that the URI, the URL? What is the authorization header? You know, sometimes I just got to stop pretending like I know what it's talking about. Authorization header example. I mean, is that the URL? I mean, what does that mean? Is it the header of the HTML? I mean, because like if I go here, so look, if I go, is that the one? Yeah, I think that's what I was looking at. No, you'll need to replace the placeholders. No, wait, that's not the one I was. Gosh dang it! Where? How do I keep losing my page? Wasn't I just on here? No. Okay, something's weird happening here because it's like. So it wasn't ChatGPT, or was it? Oh, they created one for the manual. Validate token manual. Token validation and claims extraction are handled by the middleware. But this is an API, right? I guess I don't understand how. If you want to validate token role within the endpoint, e.g. to check its validity and decode claims. I think it's weird they call them claims too, you know, because they're just user records. So this is adjust. So it's normally going to be this. All right, I'm going to try something. Go to my page here. Then I'm going to go copy, which I think I already did, but I don't want to lose it. So I'm going to go up here. And, wait, what? Weather forecast is supposed to be secured. What the heck? Oh, well, I thought it was. What the heck? Oh, it is. It's authorized right there. Get weather forecast. Alright, wow, man, I'm going to go to the next thing. Is it like not referencing it correctly? How do I implement the authorization on the weather forecast page? It does say authorize. HTTP get. I mean, it's written slightly different. Controller name. It's taken some interesting routes because it doesn't call them exactly like I'd expect. But it does say authorize on there. Alright. Ensure your program CS is configured correctly. This should already be set up based on the previous step, but here's a brief check. Alright, let's go look. Looks pretty much identical. Yeah. Token validation parameters, key. There's 4 of these. 1, 2, 3. And those 3, and that one. No, it's exactly set up. I do like being able to test in Postman too. That's oh, interesting. All right, let's try that. Let's go open Postman. I don't know if I want to tweak my validate token. I'm debating on it in my mind. But I want to see if this will validate the token. And okay, what is the name of my token? So we're going to go here. It's 71.95, of course. I knew that, but we're going to. So how come it's not showing as secured though? Because it's already showing up as get, but it's not showing up as secured anymore. So get, and it says authorize, so it is there. Register login, validate token. All right, let's go. Where is my Postman? Here it is. If I login, let's go to my, I think it's validate token. Validate dash token. Then we'll go to header. And the header values, didn't give me an example of what these should look like. Key authorization? No, I don't know what the I think it actually gave me an example up here. Go to the body tab, select raw JSON format. Oh, okay, never mind. Body, raw, JSON. Then we're going to go here, and we're going to go token. No, that's not it. Show the token. Oh, okay. Let's undo that, because again, I'm not trying to do that version. So let's go to, let's clear this. We'll try it again. We'll go back to headers. Key. Key is authorization, just like I was going to type. Value. And we'll hit send. Select post. Post API auth validate token validate dash token. Oh, but I put that in wrong. It's API dash auth validate token. Did not like it. Swagger will display documentation with them, including registered login. Post, go to headers tab, authorization. I did that, didn't work. But it also could be that a couple of things could be going on. Let's go, let's try, got to figure out how to make this function here. Do I do a login first? All right, let's go login. Is a login a post request or a GET request? I would imagine well, it'll probably say right here. Because a login is you're getting information back, but you have to send them information to get it. So, right? So that would make it a pet request. Maybe it is a post request. Because a register, well, register doesn't say either, but email, password hash, role, conquest, add, context. That'll happen worthily. But it doesn't tell you if it's a, oh, it says HTTP post. Okay, they're post requests. Okay. All right, so I got to go back to here. Let's go try and log in. And we're going to go to body, JSON, and then we're going to go copy, and we'll go here, squiggly, and send. All right, so we got a token back. Yay. And then we're going to go Control C. I'm going to rename this. Then we're going to add another one. Oops. Dang it. Just add a new one. Share run. Add request. There you go. It's going to be post. And we're going to do validate token. And then we're going to go to headers. And we will say authorization. And we will put this in here. Now, I don't know. It could be that it doesn't like it without the quote. But oh, it validated. Oh my gosh, it worked. Oh, what do you know, folks? We got a validation token after a week and a half. I finally got a validated bearer token. Holy McMolians. Now, I'm not 100% sure how that's going to be passed in from React, but hey, first things first, got to get the authorization working. Now, there's other things I'm going to want to get and do and apply, maybe even some of those things that were in the original auth. But now I can register a user, log in a user, and validate the token that the user that logged in has. I'm feeling like there's some missing bits because it's not returning quite as much info. It's not quite as informative, but I might be able to go through and hack those things in now that I know how stuff works. Now that I can create a login, I can create the validate token. I'm understanding a bit more how things are going, where the headers are. And yeah, I think we're kind of getting close to a usable thing here. So but let's do one thing that I really need to do, because it's kind of driving me bonkers that I didn't do this before. But now I've got me a working application, so it'd be a really good idea to save it. And so for any future changes I make, let's go to my Git repo here. We have all this. Let's go working JWT bearer token authorization and token validation. We'll commit all and push. So we'll get all that up into my Git, and I now have a functional set of information up there. Now, there's much more to do and get and put into this auth, because this has been simplified to its most simplified version. I'm thinking maybe I start using not whatever the heck. What is that I just clicked on? Restream chat? Why do I have that open? That's not a thing. Ignore me. No, but I might just start using Postman. Postman is the most honest way to do this, because Swagger is kind of like it's telling you how to do it from within the app, which is fine, but it's not what you're going to be passing to it. It's just like, put some stuff in this text box and we'll read it for you and we'll add. The validate token, I couldn't even validate token there. What good was the endpoint if I couldn't actually pass in the validation? Now, yes, I can cheat it. Like it said, I can have a manual version where my endpoint will work. But I hate writing code that works with something only in, what do you call it? In special cases. You know, it's like creating a test version of a module and the module that's going to do it. If you test the test version of the module, that doesn't mean your other module is going to work. It just means you created a functional test module, but unless that test module becomes the live module, there's no point in doing it. So you're just writing different code. You need to be able to run through a set of data. Now, one of the tests I did when I did my SQL Server testing, I was able to run my unit test against the entire database. If I had a full test database, it would run through every single one and find conditions that didn't meet the criteria of the application. So it will say, oh, these ones are no good, these ones are not set up correctly, blah, 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 and you can go through and fix them. But you know, it's testing, basically testing against live data. But in this case, I was generally running in pre-prod. You don't run those tests against production. You figure if you get everything fixed in pre-prod, hopefully we get to production, it's not going to see any problems that don't apply. And of course, any fixes you apply, you try to make them as encompassing as possible. If this is a problem, then these other scenarios would be as well. So you try to set up a test that'll react to all those. But I did get this working, and it's 4 o'clock, and yay. Now I just have to get my validate token called from my React and see if my React can still call this as is. But it's Friday, so I'm going to call it for now. And hey man, it's done. We've got a functional bearer token, JWT bearer token. We're able to validate the token, and now we just need to oh, you know what? Oh my gosh. It did not validate the token. I thought I was good. This is not doing anything. It's just the token validation method just returns true. It is not validating anything. Yeah, no kidding, Sherlock Toodlehead. Okay, so I can't say it works because it's stupid. It didn't actually work. I mean, it didn't do anything. It just has return okay. Uh, in what world did it think when I asked for validate token? Did it think I didn't actually want it to validate the token? Oh, you mean you wanted it to function? Oh, yeah, no, this doesn't do that. Oh my gosh. Okay, so now it gave now so oh, this is the code you want to do that. Let's see if this will actually work. Okay. Um, the name request does not exist. Where is this is it up here? Is that a, oh really? From body. Huh, I didn't even knew that was a thing. Token request. Oh, token request. I still feel like that's not in there. Token request cannot be found. Are you missing a using? I don't know, probably. Where is this thing called token request? Token, JWT, system text, identity model tokens. Nope, that's in there. Microsoft, ASP.core, MVC. No, that's all in there. What is it missing? Validate token from body, token request, HTTP validate token. Oh. They have a class down here for the token request. Okay. Guess I can put this in here, why not? Kind of weird, but okay. And request is email and password. Oh, okay, so it's just going to pull whatever that token is from the database. It's not really, it's not a user request, okay. All right, well, let's try it again. I guess I can't say I was done. Now I can say I'm done if this works. Let's go to my login. It's kind of cool. It saves my stuff this way. I don't have to keep entering it. That's nice. All right, so I don't really even need that anymore, but let's go here. I might get rid of the Swagger crap. Just use Postman. Alright, so we're going to say send. We got a new bearer token because we got a new application going. So we'll go here. Take that over to my, let's say, let's rename this. Validate token. Go here. And then we send. Type, blah, title, blah, 415, blah, trace ID, blah. I don't know what the status, what is status 415 though? Unsupported media type. All right. Token request class. This is simple model. Token validation. Token handler. The JWT security is used to token. Valid the method will return the claims principal extracted from the token. If the token is invalid, error handling. If the token is expired or otherwise invalid, an appropriate error message is returned, ensuring the testing the token validation. Headers, none required unless you want to test using an authorization header. Body JSON, validate, valid token. With the setup, the validate token method will probably validate the JWT token based on your defined parameters. The approach allows for okay, so when I passed the bearer token to the validate token method per in the header per instructions, I received status 415 unsupported media type. And the server expects the request body. Since you passed your authorization header and not in the request body, the 415 error might be the result of the method. Here's a guide to help you troubleshoot the correct issue. Here's how to modify the validating method to properly handle the token from the... Okay, so it keeps rewriting them for me. It just bounces back and forth. It wrote the first one to require authorization header. Hey, IAMID, how you doing? I'm getting really frustrated with the way these code tools are working. 1 second it tells you how to do it one way, and then the next second you say, okay, well, I need to have this actually validate, because before I was getting validate token, all they had in there was return true. And I'm like, well, I need to actually validate this. As it goes, this doesn't actually validate. It says, oh, if you want it to validate, do this. But it says, oh, so if you want to validate it, put this code in. I put the code in, and so I went to test it and it didn't work. And it goes, oh, it's because it's not using authorization header. Well, you wrote it with authorization header. How come you unwrote it with authorization header? You're just making it more confusing for me to go, one example you write requiring body, and the next requires an authorization header, and then the next requires body. And I'm like, just stick to the same thing you wrote before, and just give me this code that relates to the way. That's all I want to do. I'm just trying to get it all working. Tell you, man, this there's a lot of good. I'm learning a lot with ChatGPT. It's teaching me a lot of the things, the codes, but the problem is it's inconsistent with how it works with its previous code. And I will tell you right now, I was using Black Box AI, and it has its own problems. It was jumping all over the place. It would rewrite things in totally different ways every time I asked the question. All of them theoretically would work, but I don't want to keep jumping around. I'm trying to focus in on a route. But anyway, so now I got to go try this again to try to get this to work using valid. I like authorization headers. I think I like that better than using the body of the token. Only problem is if you use body, you can test it on the endpoint. But it's just about learning how to use these and pass these. And authorization headers seem like the common way to do things, so I'm trying to do it that way. Anyway, frustrating. Okay, so let's go try this again. He's got basically the same information. I didn't change. The only thing that changed here looks like the title. Let's go up here. I'm gonna go back up here. And validate parameters, don't need that. But I am missing this. Gonna need that guy. It's kind of interesting though, this piece, it says it's standard to send it through with a bearer subtoken, a bearer prefix. But you see all it's doing is cutting the bearer prefix off. That's all it's doing. It's just going to say, give me the auth header, but cut this piece off. And I'm like, well, then why are we doing it that way? I guess telling it the type is the idea, but... All right, so we got principal, var claims, principal claims. I'm just making sure nothing really changed here. Validate token. Oh yeah, see, it's not using that anymore. We're not using the request object anymore because it decided to change the way that goes, so we're not doing that. Because the token isn't coming from a request object anymore. Expiration, unauthorized, unauthorized, validate. Okay. Okay, so hopefully, we are now back on track, which means I'm probably not even going to need this token majig down here anymore, because I'm not passing in a token majig anymore. Probably don't need it. I'm curious what happens if I pass in that same token. Let's go over to my this guy and see what happens if I pass this guy in again. Still kind of coughed on it. Let's stop. Curious. It still shows pretty much pointless, right? Or, yeah. Just making sure. All right, so we'll go back over here. I'm going to go back to my login. I'm going to log in again. It's going to send me another login key. Or a token key. This time, I should be able to use the header on my other thing. Go to my validate token. I'm going to go here. And this time we'll hit send again. Aha! Now we've got stuff. Use authorized users, AMG authorize. Wow, check it out, man. It actually looks good. Name modifier type. Value, Microsoft.com. I don't know what this is. Claims role. I mean, I gotta work on the other pieces like defining roles and other stuff like that, but I don't need that right now. I just got the basic stuff in. I can log in, I can validate my token, and I can register a user. Those are the key elements that I need in order to progress on my apps. Now, eventually, I might want to do more and lock down a little bit more stuff, but those are the three key elements. And now it's finally returning them, and it's got everything. It validated the token. It was happy with the whole thing. 200, and it's fully validating. It actually ran through all of my stuff. Huh. Finally. Okay, so it's 4:15, not 4 o'clock by the time I got everything functioning. Today, it's been days. So what does this mean for my stream? Should I do a like a succinctifier? You know, take this everything I've done and just kind of do a how to do this kind of bit, because ultimately, I haven't seen anybody doing this. I think I'll wait. I'm gonna do this. Yeah, because I got to clip and cut. I'll probably have to cut out like 5 hours of junk out of this, but I'll brief it down, cut it down, and then I will add in there. It'll be a full end-to-end creating the authorization API with validating the token, with some testing for the validating the token, and then I'll have either a part 2 or a second piece that actually goes through. And this is how you can, this is how you call this authorization page from like React. And then maybe I'll do one that calls it from Blazor. Well, I have to do one that calls it from Blazor because I am going to do it from Blazor also. So I'm doing both because I'm doing the side-by-side apps. So that said, the calling stuff from Blazor is a big, fat, hairy pain in the rear side. I mean, look, this is the authorization is not for something as simple as these three. I mean, I created 3 login pages, or 3 pages, a register, login, and validate. And I still haven't tested actually locking anything down and implementing it because it's, as you can see, it didn't lock, it unlocked my weather forecaster. So okay, so I'm gonna have to go back through and kind of look at the previous setup and figure out the actually making it authorize, force authorization. And to be honest, I think I already have that in React. But again, my API changed slightly, so I'm not sure how that's gonna come across, because there are pieces like I'm gonna have to go in and apply to my apply to this. I'm gonna have to apply to this my what do you call it? Not only the authorization, but the source, the allowed sources, which is another piece of the program.cs. This piece up here, because you can see I don't have any of that on here, like the security. I don't have the security API. I don't have a couple of things that I actually removed, so I'm going to have to re-establish those pieces. I may have to go into my previous streams and see how I did that, because in doing this, I basically cleaned house and rewrote this stuff because it had a bunch of pieces from a lot of different parts. And now finally getting it to do everything I want, I'm looking at it going, okay, well, I want some of that other stuff back. So I may have to go through and play with that. So I'll be learning from myself from previous runs, because it's kind of getting the feel for what exactly is involved here. This is not overly complicated, but there is stuff going on here. Swagger is kind of a weird thing, and a lot of people use it, so I think it's cool. It gives you a UI. I think Swagger is better, I think it's better for apps that are I don't know, I don't necessarily think they're great for APIs, because the APIs themselves are going to call differently. I've already tried that, and you just because you know, okay, I can pass these things in, okay, my methods work. That's like calling them using that's unit testing, right? It's basically, okay, my methods work, but it doesn't give you the means to actually call those methods from other applications. And that was my big problem before, is actually getting things to call from other applications. And now that I've got some of that stuff in place, now I got to get my React plugged back in, and so I'll be doing that, trying to figure out how to get my React plugged back in, which means turning on the pieces that I removed from here to make this work, because I just needed it to be clean before I add anything else in, because I had started adding, because the problem with Builder when you do builder services here, there are a million things you can do with builder services. I mean, you can implement OAuth, you can implement OIDC, you can implement security, APIs, you can, and they could be done different ways with different types of tokens, like just a straight bearer token, or in this case, a JSON web token. This is a bearer JSON web token, supposedly. They are bearer tokens because it says JWT bearer defaults. You can do it with just bearer, just JWT. You can do API key security. There's so many bits and pieces that you can go. So it's kind of like this many pronged options, but only one path is going to work. I mean, you might be able to take this path or that path or that path, but you can't take all the paths. Only one path's going to line up. You know, whatever you do, only one path's going to line up. You're going to either pick this and this and this and this and this and this and this, but you can't have all. You put all the pieces in there, and they're all, and some of them will work, some of them won't. Hopefully, one of them would, but really, you're just going to clutter your code. And if anybody has to come along and look at your code later, they're going to go, "Why is this here? Why is that there? I don't even know which one's which." And if they don't know how this type of auth works, they're going to be lost. Like I was lost because so many things were in there. But I had to learn a lot of stuff to make this happen. I had to get the JWT going. I had to learn about bearer tokens. I had to learn about the different forms of security, how to get the validation of a token going. I did notice that this is doing it weird and different in that, like, you can actually create, I'm telling you, you can actually create this auth. It's not, maybe not with all the same features exactly, but you can create it for Swagger to go get it and figure out what's in these endpoints without actually writing the endpoints yourself. Now this said you cannot, but I know you can because I followed the original sample text, and when you put in Swagger with certain information, it knows which endpoints you're going to use and it puts them in there, and they're like underlying bits, and they're a lot more formatted, a lot more robust than the stuff you're getting. Well, I don't have any of those in here, so mine basically rebuilt the basic three. Now this might be better for learning and understanding because my login is here, my registration's here, my validate token's here, and I can actually see these code pieces and follow and step through them and understand them. Whereas if you have some piece that's using hidden logic for those things, you're going to be like, how's it doing this? You know, and you're not going to learn it. So I kind of like this. If I ever say I want to fix something with the login or do something new to the login, I can go here and just see the code and log it and change the login code. As long as I know not to break this stuff, which I do now, I can actually go in and do my other pieces on my own. There you go. Anyway, it's 4 o'clock Friday, 4:25. I'm ready to switch over, start playing some games. Woohoo! Friday gaming. I don't know what I'm gonna play. Maybe I should do some Watcher of Realms, or maybe I should switch over and not play a phone game. I'll actually play some other game, or maybe I should just paint. I don't know. But happy Friday, everybody. Hey, if you're into miniatures at all, I got to do my spiel. Sorry. If you're into miniatures at all, if you like D&D, if you like Games Workshop games, or Privateer Press games, or if you just like to collect Hot Wheels and Lego minis or any other small items, 3.5 inches tall or 2.5 inches wide, you know, decent little sizes. I have a case. It's called the Mage Cage and the X Case. There's two of them. They actually interconnect. They're all fully compatible. But one just has a slightly different interior design that allows you to have a tiered shelf inside. We have magnets and metal plates for minis that have magnets already to go inside. And then we have flex iron bases, which are just little pieces of rubberized metal that you can glue to the bottom of a figure or a item, and it'll make it stick to the magnets that you can get with our cases. Then you can transport them to local shops and stores. They have front opening doors, and they're so cool. You open them up, they're expandable. You can start with one case and snap another one on, make a big case out of them. And then they have mounting holes in the back. You can put them on the wall, create cool wall displays. Check out YouTube and Instagram. You can see a bunch of videos of how they work. They're called, look at Active Minds Games. That's Minds with an S in the middle. And YouTube and Instagram has videos and pictures and how they work, what they do. They have me doing some demos. And if you want to pick up some mage cages, even you can go to AM Games Direct. If you want some clear X cases, you're gonna have to wait. We're all out. Sorry, I way underproduced them when I underestimated how many we would sell, and I just made enough to pay off the debt of the production. Oops. And I've done that a couple times because I've always been nervous about doing it. But next time I do a Kickstarter, which we're planning to do as soon as we reach 800 followers on Facebook, go to Facebook, Active Minds Games with an S in the middle. I have to say that piece because people don't hear the S and they go to Active Mind Games. It's Active Minds, plural. Go to Facebook, follow us there. You'll see that we've got about 400 followers, 420. We're trying to get to 800 followers, so we need your help. 800 followers, we're going to announce the Kickstarter, which will be within 3 months or so of that date. And then we're going to have so many cool things on there. We're going to make some more cases, obviously. We're going to make them better. We're making them out of a harder polycarbonate. And we're going to have inserts for paints that hold paints and shelving and drawers that you can configure the interiors to carry around your tokens and dice and other little things, or even tier your minis inside there so they look cool and they can shelf put them in any way you want them. They can hold big. We're going to have a bigger case that's 4 times the size of one case. It's like 2x2 size, and it can hold big minis, good solid size minis in there, and they should be able to be upwards of 7.5 inches tall and 5 inches wide. And maybe if they're long, you can, as long as they're 5 inches, no more than 5 inches wide on at least one side, you can have a big thing in there. That'd be a pretty big. Drop something like that down on a table. That'd be awesome. But they got front opening doors, and even these big cases will snap into the smaller cases. That's part of the design plan. So yeah, they're going to be pretty awesome. Check them out. Till next time.